Salutations, crustaceans. I'm Lobster, and welcome to the ultimate Jazz Bass Preamp guide. In today's video, we'll be looking at the J Retro Deluxe from John East, and it's gonna be good. Let's check it out. Welcome to part 2 of the ultimate Jazz Bass Preamp guide. Today we're going to be looking at the J Retro Deluxe from John East Preamps. Hey BB, it's been a while since you've been on a video. John East is easily one of my favorite preamp manufacturers, and I used to rock a regular J Retro in my daily driver jazz bass for a number of years. And I'm excited to play with this John East J Retro Deluxe today. This preamp was provided to me at a discount through Best Bass Gear, so thank you Best Bass Gear for that, and I'm going to go ahead and link their shop with this particular preamp in the description down below. I believe Best Bass Gear is the only dealer in the US for John East preamps. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's usually where I get them from anyways. Otherwise, you can get them from the man himself over in the UK, but then you have to deal with the wait time and shipping, and Best Bass Gear usually has the stuff in stock, so thanks again, guys. Now, we've already installed the Lucid Hand NFP preamp, and I had to do some modifications to the control cavity, which would have been required for any of these preamps, because the Sire V3 jack cavity is separate from the control cavity, where it's in the same spot on the V7. So I had to drill out a larger hole to get the jack in from the preamp. I didn't want to like split it and solder it. So yeah, I got everything all plugged in, but I think that this particular install and the subsequent installs after that are going to run a little bit smoother. The J Retro Deluxe retails for $275 US. So it's definitely a pricier preamp, but the John East preamps have honestly never let me down. I have the MMSR in my Dingwall back here. That's right, the Stingray preamp. Go ahead and check out that video. You know what? I'll link it in the description below too. Why not? It's a good video. But anyways, let's go ahead and toss this preamp in the space. We'll go over the features and we'll see how it sounds. To the workbench. Okay, so here we are. We are going to be installing the John East J Retro Deluxe preamp. It is of similar construction in terms of pickup attachment to this particular Lucid Hand preamp, so it is mostly solderless, if not completely, depending on, well, we'll see. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and open this up first and remove the existing preamp. Now, if you saw the Lucid Hand video, you saw what I had to do in order to drill out the jack cavity and make a hole to the control cavity. That would have to be done for this preamp as well as any other replacement preamp, so keep that in mind with the V3. I was not expecting that. Again, the Sadowski preamp that I installed in my V7 had the control cavity and the jack cavity together. It was all one cavity, so I expected that here and was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't. That pleasantly was sarcastic. So we have the Lucid Hand preamp here. We're going to go ahead and remove the battery and then remove the preamp. This should be very quick. Take our little tiny screwdriver here and disconnect the 4 pickup wires. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and unscrew our jack and get that out of here. Okay, now let's install the J Retro Deluxe. Here we have it. This is the J Retro Deluxe. As you can see, it has a spot here for a battery, which means the battery can be in the cavity, no problem. This is a nice preamp here. So this has everything that we need here. This is a bridge ground connector, which we will attach to our ground wire here. And we have our battery connector, and then our 4
pickup wires go here. We have gain trim pots on the PCB, and that seems to be about it. So this is a J Retro that also features a passive tone control. I have no idea what the other switch does. I guess I'm gonna have to read up on that before we play it. So first, let's go ahead and toss in this jack. Hopefully it won't get stuck. Okay, we got the jack through. Here's our battery connector. So we have the option to use our own battery connector simply by disconnecting the existing one here, but we are going to be utilizing this guy. Okay, we have connected our 4 pickup wires. Now let's just attach our ground wire here. And we'll just pop in our battery. We're good to go. We did all our legwork when we installed the first preamp, so the rest of these preamps should be a breeze. Knock on wood. And the preamp is in. Let's go ahead and take her for a spin. Back to the wall.
And we're back. We have successfully installed our J Retro Deluxe Preamp from John East. Now, yes, I'm wearing different clothes because this is the next day. I didn't have time to shoot the little follow-up video after I installed this, so we're going to be checking it out now. So again, we have successfully installed the John East J Retro Deluxe Preamp here. Let's go over the controls first. This preamp is a fully featured preamp, meaning it has a 3-band EQ with a mid-sweep and a passive tone control. This is the only EQ that we're looking at in this series that has all these features. And this has the same number of controls as the Sire preamp, though this does have an extra switch, and we'll go over that functionality in just a bit. So for controls, we have a master volume and a master blend control for the first stack. This allows you to control your volume levels and allows you to control your pickup blend, so you can kind of pan to either the neck pickup, the bridge pickup, or both. Directly under that is a small switch, which is a toggle for 50-50 pickup mode. Essentially, that is bypassing wherever you have the blend knob and will give you a 50-50 blend, 50% neck pickup, 50% bridge pickup, right in the center. This allows you to quickly switch between, let's say you're soloing your bridge pickup, you just flip this switch and you're back to center without actually having to turn the knob. This allows you to, again, quickly switch between your different pickup modes. The next stack is the bass and treble stack. The bottom control is the bass control, and this has a lot of bass, I'll show you soon. And then the treble control is at the top, and that is a push-pull to activate the bright mode, which gives you a boost at the 7 kilohertz frequency to add some extra sizzle and high end. The last stack is the mid and mid-frequency control. The mid-frequency control is on the bottom, and the mid control is on the top. And this is pretty much like any other mid control, except this has a huge range of mid-tones. I believe it goes all the way down to 150 Hertz up to 3000 Hertz, so you have a wide range of mid-frequencies to select. The final control here is our passive tone control. And next to it is a small switch that bypasses the active preamp circuit, essentially making this passive. And yes, you can run this without a battery in passive mode and still allows you to use the passive tone control, which is a very nice touch. Now let's go ahead and plug the bass in and see what this preamp sounds like. So what you've just heard is the preamp at full center. We have the tone control at 100% and all the EQ controls at the center detent. Now this is a hot preamp, so pairing it with a hot set of pickups, like the Sire pickups here, definitely results in a little bit of boominess. That being said, replacing the pickups with a more, I guess, traditional set, my favorites are the DiMarzio Area J's for passive jazz pickups, and I've always found those to be a lot more, I guess, representative of the true jazz bass character, and I think those would pair nicely with this preamp. That being said, these stock Sire pickups definitely aren't bad at all, and I think they sound pretty good. Let me show you the output difference between the active mode and the passive mode. So here we have the preamp engaged but centered. And here's the preamp bypassed. One more time. Here's the preamp on. You can definitely hear the change in output. Now, there are two individual gain controls on the PCB of the preamp, one for each pickup to control the individual pickup gain. Now, I have that down all the way, and it still is a little bit on the boomy side, and I'm going to attribute that to the pickups here. In my other Sires, I've replaced the pickups and noticed the output was a little bit more mellow without being like neutered or too quiet or anything. So the Sire pickups are definitely on the spicier side in my opinion. Not that that's a bad thing, but you definitely notice that with these aftermarket preamps. Now with the preamp bypassed, let's play with the passive tone control first and see how it impacts the tone in passive. Here's the tone one more time at 100%. Here's the tone control at about 50%. And here's the tone all the way down. Very nice, very nice. Now let's activate the preamp, keeping everything centered, and do the same thing all over again. Here's the tone at 100%. Here's the tone at 50%. And the tone all the way down. Very nice, very nice. Now let's go ahead and turn the tone all the way back up and play with these EQ controls a bit. First, let's start out by turning everything all the way down. Now, one thing I appreciate about John East preamps is that even at full cut, you're not really neutering the instrument. Instead, you have a really good starting point. And let me show you. Now the mid-frequency control only impacts the frequencies that are being modulated by the mid control. So when you're playing with the treble and bass controls and the mid is at center, the mid-frequency control is not doing anything. Some other preamps, the mid-frequency control kind of bleeds into the bass and treble controls a little bit. But with this preamp, everything is pretty well segmented. So again, we have everything all the way down. Let's play with this mid-frequency control a little bit and I'll show you what I mean. So here's the control at center. Here's the mid-frequency control all the way down. So we are cutting the low mids, leaving the high mids. let's turn that the other way. And now we are cutting the high mids, leaving the lows. Let's go ahead and center the mid-frequency selector and play with the bass control first. I'm going to go ahead and turn the bass up to center, leaving the treble and mids cut. And the mid-frequency control, again, is at center. And let's turn the bass control up to about 50% boost. And here's the bass control at 100%, for those who are curious. Yes, it gets quite bassy. Let's go ahead and turn that back down to center and bring the treble control up to center as well. So we have the bass and treble at center and the mids cut. And let's boost the treble all the way now. Yeah, so the treble control adds a nice little bit of sizzle without being too harsh. With the treble control up all the way, I'm going to go ahead and pull that, and we have the bright mode activated. Bright mode is boosting, I believe, the 7 kilohertz frequency, and you definitely hear a little bit of extra sizzle there. But keep in mind, this setting can also bring out some noise, so use it with caution. Again, it really depends on the pickups and your construction and shielding and all that stuff. And the John East preamps are definitely more prone to noise for basses that are not shielded well. So keep that in mind. The John East manual recommends a full copper shielding job and connecting all the grounds and making sure that you have full ground continuity. The Sire V3 that we have here is utilizing shielding paint, though there is solid ground continuity there. So keep that in mind. I mean, your mileage may vary here. Yeah, we're definitely dialing in a lot more clank with this bright mode. I'm going to go ahead and turn that back off, and let's play with this mid-frequency control once again with the bass and treble centered and the mids fully cut. So here's the frequency centered. Now let's play with the frequency control a little bit. So we are now cutting the high mids, leaving more of the low mids. And now let's flip that around. So now we are cutting the low mids, leaving more of the high mids. Very nice, very nice. Now let's explore this mid control a little bit more. Let's go ahead and take the mids from full cut to about 50% boost. We're going to keep the bass and treble centered. Here's what that sounds like, and this is with the mid frequency control centered as well. so this mid control is definitely the body of the sound. You definitely can shape the tone a lot using this with either cut or boost and the mid frequency control. So with the mids at 50% boost, let's play with this frequency control a bit more. Let's go ahead and turn it down all the way. So we're going to be boosting the low mids 50%. Now what I'm going to do, since the changes are a lot more drastic with the mids boosted, let's just play with the frequency control ever so slightly. Very nice, very nice. You can really dial in the kind of growl and grit that you want out of this bass. You can really tailor the tone to be nice and smooth or really gritty and angry. Let's start focusing more on the gritty tones. We're going to take the bass control and give it a 50% cut. We're going to take the treble control, give it a 50% boost, and we're going to leave the mids at 50% boost as well. Let's see what this sounds like with the frequency control centered. And let's play with the frequency control some more. So I am boosting the high mids right now. We have it at around, I guess, I want to say 75% for the mid frequency control. That's about halfway between center and fully up. So here's what that sounds like. And now let's boost the lower mid. So we're going to have the mid frequency control at around 25%. Very nice, very nice. Now let's go ahead and center everything. And let's see how she slaps. Very nice, very nice. Let's slap it one more time, but playing with the tone a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and cut the bass about 50% because it is a little bit bottom heavy. We're going to boost the treble one more time to about 50%, leaving the mid centered, and let's see what that sounds like. Very nice, very nice. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the J Retro Deluxe from John East. Again, John East is one of my favorite preamp manufacturers because of the high quality construction, the openness of the tone, and just the flexibility that you get. You can really kind of dial in so much. The mid-frequency control is very, very powerful, as well as are all the other EQ controls. And the addition of the passive tone control is a nice touch as well. You guys know that I always appreciate the addition of the tone control in an active circuit, as it does something different than the treble control. When you're cutting the treble, you can get different characters, and even when boosting the treble and just turning down the tone a little bit, you can dial in some really nice clank while just shaving off a bit of the harshness that you get with the treble boosted. So there's a lot of tonal possibilities with this preamp. This is a fully featured preamp, just like the Sire one that comes stock on this base, but it is, in my opinion, quite a bit more high-end. Coming in at, I believe, $275 from Best Bass Gear. Thank you guys. They did provide a discount for this video, so I was able to get this at not the full price. But I'm going to go ahead and link Best Bass Gear in the description below, so if you're interested in this preamp, reach out to them and they'll be able to get one for you. I believe Best Bass Gear is one of the only retailers in the US that sells John East preamps. So unless you want to go through John directly over in the UK, but then you have to deal with shipping and whatnot, I would say if you're in the US, snag it from Best Bass Gear. I'm not endorsed by them, I'm not being paid by them. They're just the best resource for John East preamps and a lot of the bass gear that I buy on this channel. So thank you guys for doing what you do, I really appreciate it. And that is it for our John East J Retro Deluxe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below in regards to the tones and the flexibility and everything that you saw here. As you saw from our assembly video, the installation of this preamp was very, very quick. We already did all the legwork in our Lucid Hand installation, where we had to drill out the jack cavity and connect it to the control cavity, because on the V3, they are separate, so watch out for that. That being said, my Sire V7 has the control cavity and the jack in the same cavity, so we can easily install an aftermarket preamp. But with the V3, it did require some modification, so keep that in mind. Other than that, again, let me know what you think about the John East J Retro Deluxe in the comments down below, and I'll see ya for the next preamp. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like, subscribe, join our Discord, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the John East J Retro Deluxe in our Sire V3. And as always, until we groove again,